We are back for another video on this old 1972 Ford pickup of mine. On the side, I did kind of try again to get it running. It did start and run for a little bit, and then I ended up flooding it. And then it ended up pulling the old fuel out of the fuel tank, and that stuff's really nasty. So I think I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit, and we'll go into some more stuff under the hood here. So let me show you guys what I'm doing. All right, so I picked these up from a buddy, Taylor spark plug wires. They're racing wires. They're probably a little hot for this thing. Managed to get a battery from him as well, and a cap, which the cap is coming in clutch because I pulled my cap off, and like it looks fine. You know, all of the little points in the cap look good, but the cap is broken, so not really a big deal. But looking at the rotor, it's definitely got some wear on it. I didn't get one, couldn't find one actually. And then looking down at the points, I did get a set of points for it, so I'm going to throw points in. We'll use that rotor for now. And then I also got spark plugs, and I got a couple other things. But I think what I'm going to work on now off camera, because I'm like not the best at all this stuff. Like I just kind of, you know, it's been a really long time since I've done anything with the carburetor. I know how to rebuild them. I've done it before. I've rebuilt this one a couple of times. And then the points and all that, setting the points, it sucks. You know, I got hot dog hands, but I'll do that probably off camera, just so I don't look like an idiot to the world. Alright, so I will kind of show you guys this part, but the process that I follow when I do like a new cap and wires, basically, I know the firing order. I could do it that way. I could rip all these off and follow the firing order, but I'm lazy. So this cap's got number 1 marked right there, so number 1 is already off, and then I'll just put them on as I go. So, you know, do it that way. So I can do the cap and the wires all at the same time, and then I'll leave the wires off and I'll do the spark plugs probably later. I really should be focusing on like cleaning, you know, pulling the fuel tank out and cleaning it, and trying to find a carburetor rebuild kit. I've got the number there. I didn't have the number when I went to town, but either way it's gonna have to be ordered. Anyway, we'll proceed. Alright, so like I'm over here, you know, doing the thing, running the plug wires and everything, and I'm having trouble getting this one on. It's just being stupid. I noticed it wiggled. Ooh, look at that. So I mentioned that we had pulled all these spark plugs out and put tranny fluid in the cylinders, and apparently we only put them in finger tight. So while I'm here, I guess I'm just going to put the new spark plugs in, and maybe this thing will start better. But it's amazing that it even started, because it did. So we'll go on. Alright, so we got the first spark plug out. It's an Autolite 45, which is what I got. Just a copper regular. Say what you will about, you know, whatever parts store you give your business to, but I'm just trying to find what I can. So the gap on these, if I remember right, from a million years ago, is like 35 thousandths. So I've got one of the cheater feeler gauges that we're just gonna, you know, make sure that this gap is correct, and we'll throw them in. Alright, so this is a good reason why you always double check your points. I'm sorry, your spark plugs, your spark plug gap, because we're like pretty darn close to 45 thousandths, which is fine if this had you know, a pointless ignition and performance plug wires and all that other stuff. But I'm gonna have to beat this down to about 35 thousandths just so that we're, you know, in the right ballpark. Alright, one-handed camera work here. So since I, you know, started to show you guys the process, basically I've got it set now at 35 thousandths, and you should have just a little bit of drag when you pull it out. So this spark plug is good to go. We will continue. All right, so checking back in, got all of the spark plugs, spark plug wires, the new cap on. I haven't done the points yet. I will do them maybe. I also got a starter solenoid. I don't think I need it, so I'm probably going to take that back. I have ordered a carburetor kit, should be in tomorrow, and I'm going to probably order a fuel pump. Disconnected the line here and cranked on it and nothing came out, so there's either nothing in the tank, which would be the best scenario, or the pump's no good. But what I'm going to do now is, since there's not really much else I could do under the hood, I am going to probably, at a minimum, undo the bolts here so that I can tip the seat forward. If not, pull the whole seat out. But what I'm trying to do is probably pull this tank out so that I can clean it, and then we can have a good clean fuel tank. The one underneath, I have that key, but the main hose that goes from the filler neck to the tank is ripped pretty bad, and it just spews gas out. So we're gonna start with this one because that hose is still good. So that's what we're gonna go do next. All right, well, we got the seat flipped forward, and actually that's the first time, the whole time I've owned this seat, that I've actually flipped the seat forward. But for the gas tank, we got a total of 7 bolts that we have to remove, and then all the very fragile fuel lines and wiring and all that fun stuff. But I want to pull this tank out and see what it looks like, and hopefully get a good fuel system, you know, tank and pump and carburetor and all that good stuff, so we can actually get this thing to fire up and run on its own, so we don't have to bottle feed it, because it will run bottle fed, but it doesn't get you very far. Alright folks, so hopefully you can hear me okay. Forgot that we had a tripod for phones. It's not that great. It doesn't have any, you know, articulation. It's all just stiff and straight. That's what she said. But I've already got the bolts out of that side for the fuel tank, gas tank, and I just need to take these ones out. And these are actually nuts. So that's it for the top. Alright, well, unfortunately, that's kind of the best I can do for the camera angle, but this fuel tank is ready to come out, so I'm just going to try and wiggle it out without interrupting any of these fuel lines and various other things that are potentially in the way. Well, there you have it. And as far as I am aware, that's the first time the fuel tank has ever come out. part of an old envelope or something. So, yeah. Oh boy, now's the scary part. Let's turn this thing over and see what's in it. Kind of afraid it's gonna be nasty. Paint remover. Alright, well, there actually really wasn't much at all in the tank. There's still a little bit in there, but this is just kind of like rusty varnish. That's what I could get out. And if we try to get a flashlight in there, may not work. Well, anyway, it really isn't that bad. The bottom of the tank, where the rusty varnish was, is about what was damaged, or what's dirty. The rest of it's real clean. So I'm gonna run to the parts store and get like these replacement, you know, little hoses. Yeah, sorry, out of frame. These guys. And maybe this one too, if I can find it. That's actually a coolant hose, don't ask me. I mean, I know, but I'm not gonna say because I was like a teenager, so I didn't know any better. But anyways, well, getting close to the end of the day. I had to run to town and I had to do a bunch of other stuff, but I've got as much of that old gasoline out. There really actually wasn't that much, so I mean that's pretty much it, other than whatever turned to varnish. I got these new hoses like I said I was going to. Didn't get that one, so we'll do that again. But also got had some baking soda and vinegar, and I'm gonna dump that into the fuel tank and let it soak and hope that we can get it clean enough that we can throw some fresh gas in here. Alright, fuel tank is sitting with some vinegar and baking soda, and I've been kind of shaking it around a bit, and it's doing all the fizzy stuff. Alright, we got the fuel tank back in. I ended up replacing most of these lines. Actually, I think I replaced all of them except for the one over there, but we won't talk about that one. So it wasn't too bad. I just let the gas tank sit overnight. Alright, well, as you can tell, yeah, I decided to continue working on this thing. Fuel pump right now just about in. Old one, here we go. I know, there's fuel in it, or there was, yeah, gross. But new one is already in. It's really tricky to like try and capture that kind of thing on camera with this vehicular, but let me show you. Alright, probably the best I'm going to be able to do, but new fuel pump right there, and ignore that. Just ignore that. That's not there. Just ignore that right there. Anyway, fuel pump. It's really simple. 2 bolts, 2 lines. in and out. But the problem is that the placement of one of the bolts is really difficult to get to, because it's like right up against the oil filter housing and the oil pan and the oil pressure sending unit, and it's just a hassle. So I have been kind of working on this thing off camera today, trying to get this, and it's after dark because adult. Alright, y'all, so fuel pump is in. I've actually already you know, I cheated a little bit because I wasn't sure. It runs. I had to prime up the fuel pump and turn the key a bunch and bottle feed it some more, but she runs. I've already started it twice now, because once was like, oh, surprise, it starts, and then the other time was looking for the keys. The other time was to make a video for my mom and dad, if I can find the right key. But we're going ahead and start it for you guys. First time in 15 years. Not really, but cranks right up. Not really, you know, really high idle. Really high idle. So that's the oof, a little too much, but I got a little clip of when I first started it, so I'll put that in here, and then we'll call that the end of the video. Heck yeah, I mean, that's awesome.